I wonder if you've ever found yourself thinking, why do I keep choosing people who hurt me? Or why do I shut down when someone gets close? Or why do I so fear someone leaving me? And it's because often adult relationship struggles aren't about the relationship itself, but they are connected to what your nervous system learned about love, safety, conflict, and connection in childhood. So if you grew up around emotional neglect, criticism, unpredictability, emotional absence, or trauma, these patterns don't just disappear when you grow up. They follow you into your relationships. And a big misunderstanding about childhood trauma isn't that it's about the major events necessarily, but it comes from repeated emotional experiences. And that's where terms like complex or complicated trauma turn up, or as I heard someone describe it the other day, death by 1,000 cuts. Not feeling safe, not feeling seen, walking on eggshells, feeling responsible for other people's emotions, and perhaps never knowing what version of someone you're going to get. One of my clients never knew if his mother was going to give him his tea or tell him to just get out of the house when he got home from school. And children adapt to survive emotionally, and these adaptations often become the patterns in their adult relationships. And unsurprisingly, people who are brought up with these problems become hyper aware of other people's emotions. The child who learns to monitor moods, to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to be good, to be helpful, to be easy, will show up in adult relationship in ways that can look like overgiving, struggling to say no or ask for help, losing themselves in the relationship, ignoring red flags, and prioritizing everyone else's needs over their own. They become the emotional caretaker, and underneath that is fear. The fear that if they disappoint, someone will leave, reject, criticize, or withdraw love. And that can create a deep fear of abandonment. So even small things in relationships can feel huge. A delayed text, a change in tone, someone seeming distant, and suddenly your nervous system feels unsafe and you may well seek reassurance, becoming clingy, or panic internally while trying to appear calm. And this is not a weakness. It's a nervous system response shaped by earlier experiences of inconsistency or emotional unpredictability. And if you look at John Bowlby's attachment theory, this is called anxious attachment. Now, some people go the other way, and instead of becoming anxious, they become emotionally shut down, avoidant. These are the people that struggle to trust, to open up, to feel able to feel comfortable with vulnerability. And they may pull away when relationships become intimate, because somewhere deep down, closeness doesn't feel safe. Sadly, many children learn that needing people leads to pain, and so this avoidance becomes their protection. But emotional isolation can become lonely. The hard thing to learn is that we are so often drawn to what feels emotionally familiar, even when it hurts us, and we don't do this consciously. We do it because our nervous system recognizes the pattern. And it seems that people with anxious attachment often team up with people with avoidant attachment. And the more the anxious person moves in, the more the avoidant person pulls away. But they stay together because it feels familiar. And healthy relationships can initially feel uncomfortable because there's less emotional chaos. Healing involves learning the difference between chemistry and emotional safety. So, what actually does help? Well, firstly, awareness. You can't change a pattern that you don't recognize. So, start noticing what triggers you emotionally. What are you scared of in your relationships, and what role do you automatically take? And then, secondly, self compassion, because these patterns were adaptations that served you well, and your nervous system was trying to protect you. So, shaming yourself about them really isn't helpful. Thirdly, learn nervous system safety, and this is why trauma informed approaches can be so powerful. Because changing this is not just about the cognitive understanding, it's about the emotional and the physiological too. And finally, understanding that healing relationships, people out there, starts with healing the relationship you have with yourself. It's about learning to honor your needs, trust your feelings, to be able to speak up and stop abandoning yourself emotionally. And if childhood trauma is affecting your relationships, please know that you are not broken. Your patterns make sense in the context of what you've lived through, and they can change. Healing is possible. Secure connection is possible. Feeling emotionally safe is possible. And the good news? Over 55% of people already have what is called secure attachment, and your attachment style can change. If this video makes sense to you, subscribe for more trauma-informed insights. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, then please share it with them.